about Samson and Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up to her and said, entice him and find out where his great strength lies, and by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him to afflict him. Every one of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver. So Delilah said to Samson, please tell me where your great strength lies, and with what you may be bound, and what may afflict you. And Samson said to her, and excuse me for not dismissing Sunday school or the kids. I don't know if the classroom will be available. So we're going to stay up today. So Delilah said to Samson, please tell me what can bind you and afflict you. And Samson said to her, if they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings, not yet dried, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. So the lords of the Philistines brought her up 7 fresh bowstrings, not yet dried, and she bound him with them. Now men were lying in wait, staying with her in the room, and they said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he broke the bowstrings as strands of yarn breaks when it touches fire, so the secret of his strength was not known. Then Delilah said to Samson, look, you have mocked me and you have told me lies. Now please tell me what you may be bound with. Tell me what your weakness is. Tell me what makes you cry. Tell me what makes you mad. Tell me what makes you frustrated. Tell me what makes you depressed. Tell me what makes you hurt. Tell me what makes you fall. Be careful who you tell your weaknesses to. So he said to her, if they bind me secretly with new ropes securely with new ropes that have never been used, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. He said, like any other man. Therefore Delilah took new ropes and bound him with them and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. And men were lying in wait, staying in the room, but he broke them off his arms like a thread. Delilah said to Samson, until now you have mocked me and you have told me lies. Tell me what you may be bound with. And he said to her, if you weave 7 locks of my hair, if you lock 7 locks of my head into the web of the loom. So she wove it tightly with the batten of the loom and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he woke from his sleep and pulled out the batten and the web from the loom. Then she said to him, how can you say I love you when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times and have not told me where your great strength lies. And it came to pass, listen church, and it came to pass when she pestered him daily with her words and pressed him so that his soul was vexed to death. She nitpicked and come on, baby. Just tell me, baby. Come on. Just tell me. Come on, tell me, man. You know what? We're best friends, man. Just tell me. We've been together for a long time. Tell me. I've been talking to you and I know you. Just text me, man. Just tell me what's wrong. What's happening? What's going on? And in the world there, one of my biggest quotes that I love to say is never take advice from somebody that prays less than you do. Never take advice from somebody that prays less than you do. It says they pestered him. Now the enemy comes around to pester you and pester you and pester you and pester you. Now what gets me here is that Delilah says, you know what? You say that you love me. You say you love me, but yet you won't tell me the deepest kept secrets. You know what? We all have these secrets. We all have these skeletons in our closet, and these people come into our lives and they say, tell me what these skeletons are, tell me what these problems are, and I promise I won't tell anybody. I promise I won't say anything. Tell me where you go, tell me what you've done, tell me where you were at, tell me what happened, and I won't tell anybody. And they pester you and they pester you. And the Bible says here, so that his soul was vexed to death. That he told her all his heart and said to her, no razor has ever come upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If I am shaven, then my strength will leave me, and I shall become weak. And again he says, and be like any other man. Let me tell you something, children. Let me tell you something. When somebody begins to look into your heart, when somebody begins to look into your spirit, when somebody begins to try to pull something out of you, try to take something, try to share a secret, let me tell you something. A secret is only good between weakness, one of them is dead. Right? So they take your secret, so they take your problem, so they take your weakness, and they expose it to the world. When Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, now she knew the difference between when he was lying and when he was telling. She says, oh, this dude is telling me the truth. Is what I don't understand about Samson is that every time he told her, she came back and did exactly the opposite of what he told her. He says, I'm going to give you this secret in hopes that you keep it. I'm going to share you with my weakness in hope that you don't expose it. And she kept exposing him. Aren't we like that sometimes? They burn us once, and then they come back and they burn us again, and then they come back and they burn us again, and then they come back and they burn us again until our soul is vexed unto death. Who are these people that get pleasure from my pain? Who are these people that get excited and lifted up when I stumble and fall? Who are these people that enjoy saying, did you hear about so-and-so? Who are these people that sit there and say, did you hear about sister so-and-so? Who are these people that laugh and giggle at the exact thing that makes me cry and sad? Who are these people? The title of the message is never tell the enemy your weakness. When Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up once more, for he has told me all his heart. So the lords of the Philistines came up to her and brought him the money and put it in her hand. And then she lulled him to sleep on her knees and called for a man and had him shaven off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to torment him, and his strength left him. She began to torment him like, nah. You told me your secret, and now I'm going to tell everybody. You put trust in me, and now I'm going to break it. You fell in love with me, and I never loved you. I said I'd walk with you, and now I'm not going anywhere. I said I would never forsake you, but now I'm forsaking you. She began to torment him. It's as if it isn't bad enough that you realize that those that are closest to you have hurt you the most, that you begin to realize that on top of that, they begin to mock you. They begin to mock you. And she said to the Philistines, she said, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. So he awoke from his sleep and said, I will go out as before, as other times, and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had departed from him. Then the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza. They bound him with bronze fetters, and he became a grinder in the prison. However, the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaven. I know that they've broken your heart, but in time, your heart will be mended again. I know that they've trampled down your spirit, but in time your spirit will rise up again. I know that they've broken your trust, but in time that trust will be rebuilt. I know that they have come and they have beat you down, but in time you will be healed and you will be able to stand up again. In time. And you have to learn from these situations that you can't be telling everybody your weakness, because that's exactly what they're going to use against you. You can't go out there and expose the weak part. This is what I'm afraid of. This is what hurts me the most. This is what makes me cry. This is what makes me depressed. This is what confuses me. And that's exactly what they'll use against you. They won't ever talk about the great things that you've done, or the patience you've had, or the children you've raised, or the job that you've been at. They'll never talk about all the good things that you've done, and the money that you gave, or the conversations that you've had. They'll only talk about your weakness. So here's my advice today. Never show the enemy your weakness. Don't put it out there. Don't let them see you sweat. Hold back those tears if it takes everything inside of you. Don't you dare cry in front of them. Don't you dare cry in front of them. Don't you dare show them how much they've hurt you. Don't you dare fall apart. Don't you dare fall to pieces. Don't you dare backslide. Don't you dare give up. You stand firm and say, that ain't my weakness. And I'm not going to let you expose me. Play something, Bishop. Play something. Why? Because the enemy, he plays dirty. You ever hung up the phone and said, I shouldn't have told them. You ever said, just leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. I'm not going to tell that story again. I'm so mad at myself for doing it anyway, but I'm even more mad at myself for telling you what I did. Have you ever told somebody one secret, and then a week later, somebody that hasn't talked to you in a long time calls and says, hey, guess what I heard? How do you know that? And then by that time, it's gotten bigger and added to. You say, no, I wasn't all that. Will never go after your strength. He'll never go after your strength. He'll never come at the one thing that you're most good at. Most good at. If you're patient, he'll never come after your patience. If you're a prayer warrior, he'll never come after your prayer. If you're intelligent, he'll never come after your intelligence. After your money. If you love deep, they won't come after your love. In other words, if your weakness is money, then your house is going to be full of love, but you'll always have money. You'll always have trouble with money. Why? Because the enemy comes after your weakness. Now, in trying to eat right and trying to fast and in trying to ask God's direction, you know, one of my weaknesses is just food in general. Just fried food or frosted food or baked food or whatever. And you begin to say, man, I didn't realize how many commercials there are about food when I'm fasting. Today I woke up this morning and said, you know what, I'm not going to get mad, 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 I'm not going to get mad. And what happened when I got here? I was mad. Because he came after my weakness. You have the ability to help us, and you won't do it. Do you serve the same God that I serve? Because the word says if a friend asks you to walk a mile, you walk two. If he asks you for a coat, you give him 2 coats. That's what the word says, man. I ain't making it up. I don't want to teach a different religion. I just want to be in love with my God, but he comes after weakness. What is your past? What has been the one thing that always trips you up? Is it drugs? Is it alcohol? Is it pornography? Is it violence? Is it your words? Is it your emotions? Is it thinking about suicide?